এইটা তোমার ক্ষমতা।
Legal Height DIY Kernglick.
This is DIY Power. Hello, class. Today on DIY Power, we'll be talking about redistricting. Let's watch.
Most observers agree that there is true democracy in a community only if there is shared power. That is to say, only if many people have a share in making decisions that the community will support.
I'm Rashida Tlaib, and I'm the member of Congress for Michigan's 13th district, which I lovingly call 13 District Strong.
She's a total badass.
What is really, I think, alarming and kind of a little whacked is the fact that the census, which is counting people, doesn't actually count people like me. As a Middle Eastern, Arab American, I'm actually considered white. I'm lumped up with communities with a lot of privilege, don't probably get the kind of discrimination and hate towards someone that looks like me or has the similar faith as I do.
So, redistricting happens every 10 years. We fill out the US Census, turn it in, and someone counts all of it. The census tells us who lives in our neighborhoods.
Usually communities of color get increasingly undercounted. We see it in the disparities in our healthcare, disparities in our education funding. All of it is connected because our communities continue to not have the same type of access or even invitation to fill out the census.
So some communities are undercounted, underrepresented, and then divided, while other communities get all the benefits. And once they're drawn, you have no say, no power. Like the Congresswoman said, it's whacked. This messed up practice of changing district lines so that some communities have stronger representation than others is called gerrymandering.
What was so incredibly dangerous, and this happened in 2010, is this brown girl from Southwest Detroit. I was told by 4 white males up on the 3rd floor of the Capitol building, asking me to come and look at maps that were literally drawn in dark, not in public. Our neighborhoods were cut up, communities were divided, and it really diluted our power and our strength in the Michigan legislature.
The districts don't follow geographic lines or even city boundaries.
And so we went from looking somewhat like Texas into looking like, again, the Gaza Strip, which kind of was fitting as a Palestinian American.
So what happened? Did anyone do anything?
So on the ballot in 2018, we, the community residents, citizens of all backgrounds, all throughout the state of Michigan, decided that an independent redistricting commission was necessary so that we all have equal access to our democracy and have equal access to representation. And they're coming to Black and brown communities. They're reaching out in different languages. They're making sure that the census is not the sole access or factor in deciding how these maps are going to be drawn, which will impact us for over a decade. Guess what? You get to actually participate in this part of our democracy. That is the first time ever, that is part of history, that you are now going to have a say instead of those 4 white men on the 3rd floor of the Capitol like they did in 2010.
Maybe we are not powerless. We can get involved and have a say. We can have a voice.
So the best thing about some of these amazing public hearings is the fact that you get to draw your own map. I mean, how cool is that? You get to come into a public hearing, you get to submit those maps for the record and have these independent commission members be able to use it as they develop this map that, again, will impact not only our representation, which must be equitable, but also funding and so much more that's interconnected to that.
But what about right now?
For many of my AAPI neighbors and communities, you know, the issue around racism and hate has been at the forefront. It is very important to have equitable representation. And that's why I think it's increasingly more important and very personal for people to participate in the redistricting process so that they have a strong, very strong, bold voice that says, enough, we're going to make sure that resources are on the ground to push back against these types of hate crimes.
What do we most need and want?
Equity and representation. If we align with other communities of interest, BIPOC groups and organizations will get so much stronger.
How do we get it?
The Michigan Redistricting Commission. They're having another round of hearings coming up soon. We can attend, and they have to listen to us if we speak up. We can attend the public hearings and give testimony. We can submit written comments and maps. We can even give redistricting training to community members. The Michigan Redistricting Commission works for us. We pay them with our tax money. Their power is our power. DIY power.